job.
That is.
So Jim, anytime you're ready?
Yeah. Today there's handing out something here. I know that you're really all excited about being able to sit through a finance training class, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Take that back to your place.
2 minutes. How many finance officers are in here? Okay, man.
I ain't coming. My brand
I'm
new
gonna give
coming
it to
back.
Joe.
Just you.
This is for, I'm gonna hand these handouts to a post representative to take back to their finance officers. Okay?
Couple things he's handing out right now, and I'll refer to later. All this that will be in this is in the finance officer guide, which he's handing out. And something else that you probably have to hand, and you can download it, is tax guide for veterans organizations. So I'm going to refer to that a couple of times, because there's a lot of confusion on what we should do and shouldn't do. And when you start in the office, first of all, you got to learn how to use this. There you go. That's what is expected of the finance officer. You are in charge of the finances. You're in charge of the budget. You're in charge of the payments that are authorized. That's your job. And that's what you're being held responsible for. And of course, when you're voted in, or voted told, one of the two, they have, what are you laughing about? They run all the process. So you got to make sure that you stand up, because when you're installed, you can repeat this. That's what they're asking you to do. And your first time being a finance officer, is it your first time?
Well, here.
Yeah, but there's this slide. There's 14,000 new finance officers every year. So it's a matter of understanding what has been done, and then understanding what should be done to make sure that you fit into the whole program. And as it says here, help them learn to work. Sometimes I've talked to several finance officers, and after you take over for somebody that's been there for 12 years or something like that, it's all loose and updated. So like a different style of QuickBooks or something like that. And when you go on, you want to make it easy on yourself and make sure that if you have bookkeepers or a CPA or something like that, that you meet them and make sure that everybody's on the same page. You don't want to go on. You make yourself a lot easier. Whereas the important documents, a lot of them, we've talked about that this morning with the tax ID, the EIN, all the different forms that you need, of which is in that little handout we have that we had as part of the IRS, the Veterans Organization. Yeah, that's in that. It'll help you. When people walk up and tell you you need this, this, and this, that little table will explain to you what you actually need to have. Something came up the other day about one of the posts going to have somebody solicit things on their own property. They're going to sell something. Okay? Well, that guy was going to give posts on kind of what they're going to sell. Can you do that? You can if you got to file a 990P as revenue comes in. So that's one of the things that they're in that little sheet that helps you out. Other things. Filing, what are we doing for $600, something like that. Now we get 1090, right? 1099. There's somebody over there knows that.
Yeah.
So that's all part of it. It's all part of being a finance officer and understanding what the function is. Yes, it's keeping the checkbook. It's being able to present the reports to the general membership. But it's also trying to keep everything together. Here's the list of the documents that you have to have. You're supposed to have readily available, so when one of the vice commanders comes over snooping, you'll be able to give him a book and say, there it is right here. This is what we got. And really, truly, once you get those all together, and you got it in a book, that means it's pretty easy after that. We're seeing the document, you should always save the document. This is what you can keep it safe, whatever. So you'll be able to refer to those types of things. Now when you get into the accounting itself, sure, you're not recording. I'm hurt. Oh.
She wants you to smile.
Yeah. When you get into the accounting thing itself, first thing you have to do is make a decision. How many checks do you write a year? And if you don't write that many checks, you can get a book that says American Legion official cash record, and you can still get that through that. It costs you $18 if that's what you want to do by hand. That's it. If that's what you want to do. You know. Anyway, so it's important we have to make that first decision. Of course, budget. We have a whole budget, maybe. Check the check, whatever. You know, that's what one way to have it. You know, the budget works. You know, money to it. But it's important to have some type of control at post. And getting into jumping ahead a little bit, canteen. It's a separate entity. Kitchen, it's a separate entity. Of course, you put it all together at the end, and you make decisions on whether maybe the kitchen is losing money, but how much is it losing, but what's it bringing in on the other side? Those are things that you have to have those kind of numbers to make decisions on how to post the business operates. Because there's a business. So, of course, when you start out there, a guy goes to the first chart, okay, the first account that you start with, and of course you got social reporters. So, and you've got postage, dining room, there's a series of other things that you can break into to break it down. But I say keep it easy, keep it simple. You know, make sure you get the data in there that you can draw from later on with somebody in the house committee asks you a question, or general membership asks you a question. What about this or that? You have the data to back up where you're going. Not where you're going, where the post is going. Because you're there to facilitate the post. Monthly statements. That's something that, if you get your system set up right, push the right buttons, it'll give that to you. Balance sheet, your income, P&L statement. Of course, you have to present it for canteen, you got to present it for the writers. Somebody has to bring it into the writer, then the SAL, the program proposal. They have the responsibility, SAL does have the responsibility to have that at the month, yes.
Can you expound on that? Because
And
it makes, because a lot of people may not know that.
It's in
And I understand.
it's in writing, you know, they're post programs and they have a responsibility because they are a post program, that they report to the general membership of their staff. Because it's all one, you know, it's just like on the writer's side, they raise money for a event. On the SAL side, they want to raise money to support their program, what they're doing. So if the post says, I get phone calls, I can't go backwards, but the post goes, well, I took all the writer's money. You can do that if you want, you know. But was that money allocated to an event? So you can't take the money because they've already said they're raising the money to X, Y, Z, and so that's where that money goes. Now, if you want to get down the weeds, or if you want to get rid of the writers, whatever you want to do, yes, that's your money, but you got to make sure that the goals are supposed to go.
Real quick, because this has come up at a couple of posts before, I know, it's come up at my phone also. When it comes to the money that sits inside of the SAL and the writers, I don't know if everybody understands what you mean by when it is actually set for something, when you vote as a writers group or as an SAL group, that money is going to a specific place. I don't know that a lot of people don't realize that that's where it has to go.
It has to go, yeah.
So it's not like the money just sitting there, it's allocated. And that's the same for a poster as well, when you do a fundraiser for a specific thing.
Right.
It cannot go into general fund, it has to go into an account.
Right.
So,
No, No,
in case you didn't know that.
go ahead.
So, to add on to your statement, you'll be short. So if the, you say writers and sales, do they report the finances of what is gonna go to the officer,
Well, they can do it a couple of different ways. They can give the information to the finance officer,
right,
but if you're better off having the program, somebody, that finance officer, or the director, or the squad commander, make that report themselves, because they are part of the program.
right, and they will pass that report on to the commander,
The executive committee.
the
Yeah.
executive committee.
Well, they could do it, well, a lot of posts do both. They have e-board, and they have a general section, and they do the same report over again.
Okay,
And then that goes into the record.
got it, thank you.
That, anything else on that for everyone, about how we do on index cards, we're good on index cards?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah. He called me up and said, oh, you're gonna do that, yeah, he's gonna fill out the index cards now. No support. Audit committee. Oh my God, no. Now here comes check your work. Oh, Jesus. But it's important what they do. Very important. You said number one thing, you go through an audit off your back. Now, you know you did it right. But they're gonna tell you what you gotta change. And you would rather have them come forward to you and say, you know, this isn't backed up here, that ain't backed up here, you gotta be able to produce this and have it backed up for it. Can you do the backup electronically? You scan it into a system, or you have to have a hard copy? Is that on one of your next cards? No. Did it? And what's the answer to that about? According to the IRS, the little thing right there, according to the auditor and stuff, you gotta be able to prove where the money goes. That's your obligation, to be able to prove where the money goes. So how you choose to do that, I have not seen anything that says you cannot keep the digital record of stuff. You can scan it in, you have a document package, things like that. So when somebody says to you, show me that, you can take one of the thumb drives and right here. You know, or you can take either a big 3-ring notebook with all the receipts from, all the grocery stores and all that kind of crap and show them there. But it's easier if you hand that stick and say, so would you agree with that, being that? That's wonderful. Okay, thanks. Oh, that's so much help.
We have to talk about your resources later.
Hey, look at that. Make it simple. It's up to you guys, whether you're doing a finance committee. When you give something to your post, to the general membership, it has to be in a form that they'll understand. So you gotta keep it simple for yourself, not time consuming. I know of, well, I didn't talk about 129, but what Buster's Hard Bob was the guy who over, he's been for 12 years. We had 7 bank accounts. Why do we have 7 bank accounts? Well, you have to be able to, you got your obligated funds that go here, non-obligated, and then you got the canteen, and then you got lotto, and then you got this. So Bob, you put that in there. Really, one account, we wanted to, but you didn't do a lot of stuff, because that's the state gets involved in that, you need to be back and forth. Canteen, yeah, you probably keep that separate, but you can put it in one file. But we have a Legion, and we have a canteen and rifle, that's it, and lotto, that's it. And with QuickBooks, online and stuff, you can put it in different classifications, so it's just easier to do. Now, making that transition, hasn't been easy. I had to learn the hard way at QuickBooks and what not to name things, because they end up in all kinds of places. And just, holy shit. You know, we went through doing that thing, and I started looking at the last month. There's $45,000. How the hell can I miss $45,000?
You didn't put it in, they said you had 3 options, I figured 7, 8, 9, or 2. That's not what those were?
You know,
Oh. that's what I'm saying.
But when I looked at the deposit slip, I took 2 checks out of 2 of the accounts I was closing. And looked at the deposit slip, I selected transfer funds. So, what QuickBooks do? Read it, said, okay, we'll transfer the fund. So then when I deposited that deal, then the bank says, oh, hell, you moved all this money. So it doubled it. So I'm thinking, if I have a heart attack, I'm sweating, I send him, oh, Jesus, God, we're missing 40. Now we're going. So after the audit, well then finally when Pete gets back down on your ground, you start looking and you go, God, stupid, Jesus. Damn machine did what you told me to do, you know? Don't ever listen.
So it wasn't in his garage?
No.
Okay.
We'll talk about his right later. Is there any questions or anything? Did I totally confuse you? Did you? Good.
Just kidding.
Good.
How often do you have an audit?
That's up what you have to do. To me, I like to have one every month.
That would be nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice. We actually have a bookkeeping firm that does all the reconciles and accounts every night, or every month. So then I have my naughty report on what I did and do. And then, it's up to the E-board and that go off and the account area. The whole thing, I think that we're gonna call for an auditor pretty soon. And your goal, you know, just to make sure it's not covered up. Next month, yeah.
Jim, would it be a good idea to do an audit? I know it's been too little too the way we did it. We did one every single year at turnover time.
Right.
So that the new incoming would know exactly where they were sitting.
Absolutely.
So at a minimum, that's what we did at our club. We couldn't afford to do it all the time, but once a year, that's what we did. We did it once a year, and then until the transition again. During the transition, you can go, here's your money, and nobody's questioning when the back of money goes.
Right, exactly. And nervously, I now ask, nervously.
On one of the slides, you had audit committee.
Yeah.
Who comprises the audit committee?
Whatever your membership wants to do, your who they want to pick up the man. You know? We're probably, you want the finance officer in there to audit his own stuff, probably.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I was wondering, is it limited to legionnaires, or can it be anyone?
So the post operation manual says that that you should have one legionnaire that volunteers for minimum membership, and then there would be the finance officer, maybe a couple of other people. But I think, I'm not positive, somehow, sometimes I'm remembering the post operation mentions or suggests who it should be, and the only thing that they suggest outside of the officers is that a minimum of one legionnaire be there. But I assume that the legionnaire,
It might be in your constitution and bylaws.
Correct.
Also, if you're gonna ask for an audit from an outside firm, you have to be very careful, because auditors, unless you give them very specific instructions, will want to do it in accordance with GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, which will get very, very expensive, because most Legion posts don't have books like companies would keep books, so they're very different. So you have a modified cash accounting system, is what they call it. So a GAAP audit would be very expensive and give you a lot of pages of what you're not doing right. That's not meaning you're doing it wrong, you're just not doing it in accordance with GAAP. So be careful if you hire an outside auditor, give them clear instructions on what you want the audit to accomplish.
Nothing.
other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, folks. Next on the agenda, if you look in there, is that happy topic that everybody in the district, when the post, you wake up every morning wanting to have this discussion. I know you do, and I certainly do. All right, there's some rules. They're in the membership section. No rocks, no throwing things, no biting. Okay?
Take all the fun out of it.
Hey, Ryan,
Yes, ma'am.
can we cuss at you?
You can swear at me all you like. You could, I'm just gonna put some on each table. I think I have more than enough.
While Mike's getting ready to set up, I'm gonna let you just know a couple of things, okay? Next year, I'm gonna be the membership chairman again. Okay? We're gonna do it with one single membership chairman, not the dual, but there'll be a lot of confusion.
Kenny's on the list.
The first thing I did when I wrote the membership manual this year is everything they had written last year that I was not part of, that I thought was wrong, I did away with it. And I'm bringing back the incentive of the posts get the money, not your district amount. What? Joe, you hear that? Yeah. In this year's manual, the only ones that can win any money are district commanders and area commanders. Not so next year. I'm going to the 5 categories. Okay, so small posts can compete against small posts. Madeira Beach and Lady Lake and those posts can compete against their size posts.
Nice.
So everybody gets a chance. All right, that's not public knowledge yet, but I'm,
It isn't.
it kind of is because I'm telling you guys. Okay, the other thing I'm doing is we're going to have monthly membership roundtables with all the districts. Okay. And when I cannot be there, because I had found someone who has pulled me through this year, he's going to cover those meetings for me. It's going to be, we're going to meet with the district commanders, district membership people, things like that, okay? So, if you have problems, get it to them before the 4th Tuesday of every month. Okay, 'cause that's when we're going to have our roundtable. The information that goes to them is what I'm going to bring forward to the national vice commander, because I meet with him once a month. Okay. So I want your influence, because even though I'm a post adjutant, I'm post adjutant of a certain size post, and my issues are not the issues that you have. I'm in Palm Bay, you're in Jacksonville, or the surrounding area. My ways of doing things, or the people, are a whole different group of people. Okay. Now where I am, we have a lot of Air Force. Up where you are, you have a lot of Navy people. Whole different mindsets. So I'm bringing them in. I walk into the police department once a month, and I recruit all the new police officers that are veterans. Okay. All right. I don't know if you can work that out here. But that's. I've tried. Okay, it's just like Joe asked me today. I emailed Joanne about an issue with one of his members. He says, I can't get the member to transfer it to my post. Well, I don't know. Post, what did it say? Post 129. The guys already transferred to it.
Then who's transferred over?
Yeah.
He's
But it's already in your post.
No, I'm trying to get him.
No, the department's just emailed it. Okay, all right. So sometimes these things that don't go through, we need, get them to me, okay? Please, email me. Okay, I respond to my emails very quickly, or email Mike. Mike and I speak 2 to 3 times a week. Okay, Mike will get it to me, we'll get you an answer quick. Like Joe brought it to me today, it's already resolved today because I have an email from Joanne. You should get a copy of it, okay? Saying that he's already transferred to your post. Okay? So Mike's going to give you a lot of information that's going to get you upset, and then I'm going to give you much more after that. It's going to make you even more upset. But it's not as bad as it sounds. It's going to be a good year.
All right, rocks to him, smiles to me. All right, membership training. Again, there's actually two sets of slides here, one provided from Bruce. The first one is I want to get you guys prepared again for incoming, okay? Membership. I'm going to try to run this thing. I wasn't planning on doing this. Let's see if it works. Probably won't work. Okay. Before anybody can do anything in my legion, anywhere, under any circumstances, you have to have an account. All of these accounts start with individual accounts. As a matter of fact, every account is actually an individual account, even the ones that you see the adjutant and the commander and the first vice commander working with. That has to do with something other than the account. That has to do with what authorization you do or do not have. So before you can start using mylegion.org, if you're an incoming officer, especially if you're going to be a first vice or an adjutant, okay, you need to make sure you have a personal account. I'll tell you why you need a personal account. You don't have a personal account, or if you, we'll create an account. You must use the email address that you provided to National at the end of the day. When you first got in, and you started on the post member, and you registered an email, and the adjutant filled out your paperwork even before my legion, that is the email record that they have there. If you start another account and you use another email, it will allow you to create an account. The problem is, when they go in to find you, one of those accounts is going to show up and one is not. Which one do you think is not going to show up? The one you just created. And the other one is not there. So what are you going to do? The easiest thing for you to do, again, part of the transition, right? Let's see. Verify your registered email with your post membership person that's there now. Go to your adjutant. Say, would you please bring up my account if you don't happen to have your personal one? And before you open that account, have them check the email that's there. Now, you can change it later, but start with that email. Because you know what happens if you use another email, right? When they go to find you to give you authorization, you will not exist in the system, and then me and Bruce are going to have to spend 15 days trying to get it cured. That was one of the biggest problems we had at the beginning with membership teams not having access to their stuff. And we didn't even know what it was. That's what it was. Yes?
I have a question.
Yes.
All right. Based on, and this is just my permissions going into the system as a current adjutant. I have a member that comes to me and says, I want to create my account. Can you pull up my account and show me what email's there? Oh, that's the wrong email. I need you to change that.
Right.
If I go and edit that record and change it to the email that they want, as the adjutant, under my login, can they create an account after I change it to
20 days.
20?
20 days.
Okay,
That's
that's
why
what
we
I need.
say, go in there, do it under the old account, because you put a new password in,
Yeah,
go back. Now they create their account, they go in.
but they have to wait 20 days from the time.
No.
Not
If you change it today,
Yeah,
from
20 days.
Mike at AOL to Mike at Yahoo, okay, 20 days. If they don't change it, they sign in, okay,
then,
under the old one, create the account under the old one, okay, 3 days. They go in and change their email address in the system. But if you do it,
It's
you're gonna wait
20
20
days.
days.
So you want to start off with whatever's in there now, so that you don't have that delay in there, and a few days later, then you can go into your own account and you can change it. That's not a problem. And as a matter of fact, at that point, the adjutant doesn't have to change it. You can change it yourself. I did that when I switched from post 202 to post 37. What I did was I went in, I used my old commander account that I had in the system from post 30. I waited for 3 days and then I changed it to the new account so that I could work with my new post. It's just a bug in the system.
okay.
So, individual accounts. Something we found out yesterday. In the old system, when they set up, oh, another thing. They're only going to give access to the commander and the adjutant at first for being able to do membership stuff. Okay? even though they're membership accounts. That's why when you send in your new officer list, they know who to give the initial access to. But this becomes important. We found out yesterday when I was getting myself, actually 2 days ago, when I was getting ready to do this, there's a section here when we get done where I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you how to handle some of these windows, how to do this registration and all this. Well, I'm the commander of the post. So I went in and I was going to do my self-demonstration, walk myself through and figured out, I can't give Joe Blow over here access. What happened? Here's the reality now. The commander and the commander and the adjutant do in fact have management to handle and operate mylegion.org, put in new members and all that. What the commander does not have is authorization to give authorization to the first vice. Only the adjutant does. So your adjutant has to now go in and give the commander permission to give other people permission. Now, we did not know that until 2 days ago. We're going to try to fix that. So, well, he didn't find out what's that. But that's, so the adjutant that's in charge right now, you're going to have to work with these folks as you transfer them in. You're the only one that's going to be able to give them that authorization, to give authorization to authorization. Okay? Now, it could very well be a fluke. I might be the only commander they didn't like to give it to. I don't know that. You actually can go in and find that out. However, be aware of it. When we go in later on, I'm going to show you how easy it is for the adjutant to do that. It's just a matter of clicking something. But of course, it should be automatic. But, hey, they didn't pay me to do this. So once that's done, the adjutant can go in and provide all of the people who are going to be part of that membership team the access that they need. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm assuming then that has to be done annually.
Right now, I'm assuming until we send it up to national, hopefully they fix this problem. It shouldn't be like that.
Okay.
The year before, the old system before they completely, it was automatic. I could do it all the time.
Okay.
I was surprised when I went into, like I said, I was practicing, right, getting ready, and I was like, I can't get into the access, and that's when I found out.
Question, the form that we sent to the department before the convention, when we list all the new officers, their email addresses and all that, now is that the email or the email, they have a private email in my region? Which email address are they gonna
The
give
one,
authorization to?
okay, if you go in and you look Mike up, and you look me up in the system, that's the email that you need. That's what, like I said, the adjutant needs to go in, find Betty's, double check Betty's, regardless of what you send to them. You need to have the one that's in the system, in my Legion system.
Assigned to your membership number.
Exactly, assigned to your membership number by national. So just go in, the adjutant would go in, just check it, yep, it is the one that you have submitted, that's fine, you move on, not a problem. You want to make sure.
Now, to clarify what I think your question is, if you said on that form, this is what you want Becky Tips from the Department of Florida to send information to you, that email address? Okay, that's the address that the department will send stuff to you. For the purpose of operating mylegion.org, it has to be the email address assigned to your membership. Okay.
Just double check it, that's all.
For example, I have an email address that's assigned that I operate as the post admin. That's the one that's assigned, that I do all the stuff. The email address that Becky sends me stuff, or Rachel, or any of the other department officers, that is a totally different one. It's the same email address that you can send me stuff at, or anybody.
I'm actually signed in my Legion under the third email address. It's not the one assigned in my Legion, and it's my membership number, because that's my personal email. But I used to be the adjutant, so the one I logged into is the adjutant202@outlook.com, which is not assigned to my personal number, my personal membership.
You have to go in and have to change.
But I don't know how you.
I don't either, that's why I'm asking.
No, you don't have any, if there's a specific email you want to be associated with this, you're gonna have to have your adjutant go in, or yourself, if you have your own personal account, and you can update that email. You can update that email anytime you want. We will show you that later on when you open it up, how you go in and change your email. Yeah. Yes, we took care of all that. And remember, when we did at Poster 7, what we did is not like what I did when I was. They're set emails. When we do the transition, the passwords will go away that you don't have access and the other person, because it's a post email. So we got American ALP 37 adjutant, ALP 37 commander, ALP, that's how we do our email addresses. And then at the end, when we go to transition, we'll transition their passwords away. That's what we will do. That's how we choose. You guys can do whatever. But just make sure when you register that email address to them. Also, like the commander mentioned it earlier, transition as soon as you can. That does not mean that you wait until installation day, hand your stuff over. That's not going to work with membership, guys. We need to start spending time training, going in there, looking at the windows, exploring the different options. There's a lot of stuff in there. The more that you know up ahead of time, the easier it'll be if you make that phone call to me at 9 o'clock at night, and I got to sit and open these windows with you. It's a lot better if you've at least explored it a little bit. Sit down with the new adjutant. Sit down with the old adjutant, the old vice. Whoever is part of your membership team, sit with them and explore this stuff so that they can walk you through, so you're not sitting there the day after you become, the first vice or the adjutant, and you're going, I don't know how to operate this thing at all. Get an idea. Now, me and Bruce are always here to go out to your post and sit down with you, and that's fine. Whatever it takes, that's what we will do in order to get this done. But it will help if you at least explore it. Okay? Just go in and play around with it.